Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on wherever you're watching me from right now. This is Utico Engineering Services, your house plan market. If you are watching me for the first time, you are very much welcome to this platform. Right here, we discuss all about house construction activities, more especially our projects. Okay, most of our house activities, we took time to explain it in a way that homeowners, okay, people that are looking at building their own structure can have easy understanding of starting point and ending point. Apart from that, students also can benefit from this platform. What am I saying in essence? You discover that the moment you are out from school, it becomes a challenge for you to start up your own pathway or your career in life. Why? Because you don't just get job easy. Alright, like I was saying before, students are actually going to benefit from our platform. Engineering student, okay, the moment you hook up to us or if you subscribe to our platform, I think you have that privilege of getting stage by stage processes of how you can start up your own system. All right, we always take our time to explain our site activities process. Okay, apart from the student, the homeowners too, you guys are still at advantage. Okay, right now, what I want to discuss today is something that for long some of my clients, they'll be calling me, why am I seeing things like this on my walls? Okay, and so far so good. It's not something new to us, but I think I need to throw more light on it because of so many questions that be coming across my way, and instead of saying it or giving them information individually, I think there's need for me to discuss about this issue of cracking on our house construction project. Okay, most of the times after finish a good job, maybe after the rendering, few weeks later, you start seeing cracks all over the surface of the wall. Sometimes the client begins to wonder, what is the cause? Why this? And sometimes they begin afraid of what is going on. And sometimes the project might have stayed for a very long time before the cracks will start coming up. So I've looked at it from the perspective of my clients, and I discovered that I think it's worth sharing this with you guys. Today, like I said before, I'm going to be discussing cracks on our walls. Now, for you to get a clear picture of it, the first thing that we need to look at is, what is cracks? Like the way I'm going to say it right here, please just remind me, if you are joining me for the first time, like I said before, you are welcome. If you are not yet subscribed to this platform, you are free to subscribe. Okay, you are free to really subscribe, because doing that, in our next video or subsequent one, you are sure of being notified. So please click the subscribe button and also the notification bell. Okay, after that, you are sure of getting information from us as we upload new videos. Now back to the issue of the cracks. What is crack? How do I explain cracks? Okay, naturally, in a layman way, you can easily say that crack, they are lines that are running on the surface of our walls. Now these lines can either be thick lines or they can be thin, apart from that, those lines can still be deep in a way that you will see it at the other side of the wall, okay, or they can just be shallow lines. Now, whichever way these lines appear, normally the lines, they are not, some of them are straight, okay, and some of them they are hexagonal in nature, and some of them they are vertical, and some are horizontal. Now, depending on the nature of the line, that equally still determine the cause of the crack. Okay, I'm not going to go into details of the lines we are talking about, but I just want you to understand that the crack, simply what it means is that there are those lines that runs on the surface of our walls and tends to separate the walls from each other, okay, due to forces that is acting on those walls. You need to understand, if there's no forces on it, if there's no force, either there's a force or there's a reaction that's causing these cracks on our wall, okay. There are some that are being caused by chemical reactions, and there are some that are being caused by vertical forces that is acting on the walls. All right, some can still be horizontal forces. Whichever way it happens, you will always see it as a thin line or a thick line that is trying to like separate the wall into two different parts, right? Now, what are the causes of these cracks on our houses? This is a big question. Basically, we have two major causes, okay. We have the structural causes and we have the non-structural causes, okay. Today, because of time, I will limit myself, okay, to just let's discuss about the structural causes of cracks on our houses. Maybe in my next video, okay, I don't want us to spend too much time on this video. I'll make it like 2. In my next video, I'll be bringing in maybe the non-structural causes. I think that might be of main benefit to homeowners. Now, for the structural causes, okay, the first thing that we are going to be looking at, as I'm explaining, I might be giving you possible solutions to read. All right, fine. So the first thing I'm looking at is for the causes of the structural causes, we look at the nature of the ground movement, okay. When the ground shifts, if the ground shifts from one point to the other, it can lead to foundation crack. All right, now what could lead or what can make the ground to shift? One, if there's earthquake, okay, in any environment that can cause displacement of the ground, that can make the ground to shift. That is one. Then 2, if there's a moving object, okay, for example, you have this earth moving object, maybe if they are making, that is excessive vibration, if there's a moving object that is causing vibration close to that particular house, and that house is not properly designed, it's not properly done, okay, it can equally lead to crack. For example, I think maybe you have the grader during the road construction period. If you observe carefully, discover that when the grader is trying to grade the road, those houses that are close to the road, okay, there's excessive vibration. In fact, if you have stayed close to those areas, you will see how the windows, the doors, every area of that place will be vibrating. If that foundation is not properly done correctly, you are sure to experience crack. It might not manifest immediately, but that excessive vibration can induce crack to that particular house. After the operation, you start seeing the cracks manifesting on their own. Okay, that's another area where you can have structural crack. Now, what's another area where you can have a structural crack? Vegetation, planting of trees too close to your house. When you plant trees close to your house, at the end of the day, the trees grow big, and as the trees, as they are growing bigger, the roots is equally expanding. Now, if the root expand towards the foundation area, okay, there's possibility of the root destroying what you've done, your foundation. And if that happens, it still results to crack. Okay, then another one I want to talk about is the settlement, differential settlement. I don't know how to explain it clearly to you guys, but the way I want to put it, for example, if you watch, if you see a road construction before, you discover that even after grading the road, you will still see some areas that still settle down. And when those areas settle down, as a result, the nature of the soil within that area is not too good. When it settles down, every other thing on the road, okay, settle down along the same direction, and that is where you always have potholes. If you have seen something like that before, I think you'll be able to understand what I mean by differential settlement. Now, in your foundation area, it's not all the areas that have the same soil strata. Okay, some of them tends to settle down at the end of the day. When they settle down, those concrete, those blinding that you have placed on it, they are going to fall down as well. And if this happen, the whole blocks that is on that direction is going to crack. So this is another area where you can experience crack on your building. Now, apart from this, another area where you still have crack is the bad soil. Okay, for example, you are working in a swamp area, okay, and the nature of the soil is not too good. When the soil is not good completely, and after building your house, you did not prepare it very well. Now, if the water intake in that particular soil, as the water is coming in, it can lead to serious pressure on your foundation, and that can lead to crack. All right. Another way you can still experience crack structurally is shrinkage. If the water in your foundation, maybe drainage is trying to dry up, okay, and that foundation, that place is not prepared very well, it can still lead to crack. It's as simple as ABCD, okay. Now, if you have a situation of this on our hand, for example, the moving object that I talk about, the ground movement I talk about, okay, then the vegetation, which is the planting of trees too close to your house, okay, then I still talk about the differential settlement, okay. Lastly, I want to talk about something that can still cause structural cracks on our house. The design. This is very, very important. All right. If the design is done by someone that is not an engineer, okay, there's possibility of that person doing a wrong design, and by the time you take that details to the site and you followed, and the site is being supervised by somebody that is not an engineer equally, definitely the person will try to do what is in that drawing, and at the end of the day it will still lead to cracks because the proper details are not being provided for. You can ask me, is it possible for somebody to do a design that is not an engineer? Find out that for yourself. It's possible, very, very possible. We've seen it times over and over again. As we work, we have seen it many a time. So now, what is the solution to this problem? We'll talk about the structural cracks. What are we looking at? What is the solution? What is the way out? Naturally, structural cracks, outside the planting of the trees, all you need to do is avoid planting of trees close to your building. Okay. Secondly, for the case of the foundation, okay, if the soil is in swamp area, what do you need to do? Make sure that the design is properly done by a competent civil engineer. Okay. Foundation is not something that you joke with. Foundation is not something that you play with. Don't look at it in a way that, okay, it's just my foundation, I just want to. Some of our clients at foundation level, they try to play with it. Okay, they try to look at it from this angle. We don't have cash, please let the blinding be 2 inches, let the thickness of your blinding be 2 inches. Yes, we manage, we get to up, we know what to do, I'll do that. They try to bring all manner of things to confuse the workman or the person at the site that's managing the site for them. Basically, I know they can't confuse the engineers, but they will always try to confuse the workman, the people that are working for them, maybe the workers, the laborers, that please manage it this way. If you are that type of person, if you are that kind of client that always want to cut corners because you want to get something done in a fast way, you can avoid it. It's simple, because one, the cost of maintaining cracks is very high compared to the cost of doing the right thing. If you start by doing the right thing, if you get it right, your house can stay for 20 years, 30 years, and you don't have a problem. But if you get it right, in the next 2 years, 3 years, you start seeing houses, or you start seeing a house that becomes unserviceable for you to stay. And this is not what we are looking at. This is not what we are advocating for. This is not what we are planning to do. Just like I'm saying, how do you solve all this problem? Like I said before, for the trees, take it a little bit far from the house, maybe 3 to 4 meters away from your building structure. Alright? Then for the foundations, avoid making your thickness. We have thickness of foundation depending on the design, depending on what is coming on top. If it's going to be a story building, the thickness of the blinding of the casting is specified. Do not go below that standard. Now, if you are doing a work, all right, if you are doing a work, if you are a worker and you want to work for your client, and your client maybe is a novice in that field, okay, if he's advising you, please let this thing be 2 inches. I don't have money for materials. Please, the foundation area is very important, because if the foundation is faulty, whatever thing you are fixing on it is equally going to be faulty. So let your thickness, if you are building, for example, maybe a bungalow, let your thickness not be less than 4 inches thickness. If it's going to be in an environment where you are going to have, maybe where the soil is not too good, you can make provision for reinforcement, okay, to support the concrete. All right. Then if it's going to be a story building, please, your thickness should not be less than 7 inches thickness, okay, and it should not be more than 9 inches thickness, depending on the level you've taken. Okay, if you are building, if you are doing your foundation, definitely you are going to take a level. So once you have gotten your level, some places can be 6 inches or 7 inches, some places can be 8 inches, 9 inches, but your thickness should not be lower than 7 inches if it's a story building, okay, and your thickness should not be higher than 9 inches, so that you can manage materials for your client. Your concrete mix is another important area too. For your foundation level, make sure your concrete is very okay. Do not manage a concrete area. Do not say, okay, I'm going. And another thing I want to say again concerning the issue of concrete, make sure that you use the coarse aggregates, okay, the big stone chippings. Don't use the small ones, okay. I'm saying this so that you can get it clear. I don't want to be using terms that you will not get me clear, okay. I don't want to tell you use a mix of 2:4. At the end of the day, you start looking at what is 2:4, or I don't want to say use coarse aggregate. No, I'm saying things that you know, me and you know at the site. Chippings, use the bigger chippings, okay, when you are doing your concrete mix, okay. That's another area. Then outside this now, I'm still going to be discussing about the non-structural cracks, okay, but the purpose of this video, I'll limit it to just the structural cracks. I want to believe that you've gotten something from my explanation, okay. Let me share and experience with you. Now, one of my clients, they started a project, and I think the site at Owerri. Now they have finished this construction up to there. I think the second deck. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. And the design is based on frame structure. Okay, frame structure. It's like a hall. The design is going to be is based on face. Now they are finished doing the design. Now what is remaining for them to do is the partitions. Sorry, is the partition allowance. Now they have started the partition allowance, the place where they are going to put doors, windows. They brought all those things out. They now went and introduced beam that's going to run through the area of the doors, all right, to the point where you can have where you have the door, all right. Now this span alone is about 6 meters. So at the end of the day, they started experiencing cracks on those newly block works. It caught my attention. Okay, normally they pay for our consultation fees. We go to the site. When I get to the site, I look at the work. The first thing I did was to start from the foundation to see if I would see any experience, anything to do with crack, because their question or their claims is that this is structural failure, maybe the problem from the design. But when I look at the problem they are showing me, I started by doing my investigation from the foundation. I discovered that at the foundation level, the structure is okay, up to the what do they call it, to the slab. Okay, after I got to the first floor, I checked every member, the beam, the pillars, and every other thing. It was still perfectly okay. Okay, now I move to the blocks area, the partition wall. And I start seeing, they start showing me the cracks. Like, okay, look at this office, the walls, all the walls are cracking. Look at the other office, all the walls are cracking. Now the beam is not cracking, but all the walls, all the block walls are cracking. So I look at it very well. I call the man on ground. I said, what is it that you guys have done? Okay, what I'm seeing here now, this is a frame structure, and you have done this up to this level. You've dug this house. Now you've introduced your block wall, and this is what you've done. This is where you are having problem. You don't introduce a beam, okay, on a lintel of about 6 meters without a support. I say definitely you are going to experience crack, because the beam is going to be carrying a self load. Okay, now if the other beam is carrying a self load and there's no pillar to support it at any point, what is supporting it? Is the block that's supporting it, and the block is not designed to support the load of the beam. Okay, so this is where you have, this is not this is not a structural detailed failure. All right, what you're experiencing here now is bad workmanship. Okay, please, you have to correct it. If you do not correct it, it will not stop. Now, how do you correct such an error? You have two ways. One way, the first way is going to cost you more money, okay, while the other way is going to cost you time. So I told them the easier way to go about it. All you need to do, introduce a pillar. All you need to do, introduce a pillar at this support, so that this pillar can help to support the beam. After that, those areas where you have the crack, you can disconnect them and set your block again. Then see if it's going to solve the problem. Definitely, I'm sure it's going to solve the problem. So after they finish doing that, they really appreciate our work, and that settles it. What am I trying to say? There are many times that you engage people at the site that are not qualified to do that job, and at the end of the day, you end up spending 2 times. That area I want to stress on, that scenario I want to bring in, okay, concerning the issue of structural, that can lead or that can cause structurally crack, that can cause structural cracks, okay, is a situation. There's something that's going on now. I don't know who's doing it, but looking at it, not that if it's done properly, there's no problem. But my fear is that it might not be done correctly. Okay, if you have been to site before, you see some structures at the edges where they're supposed to make provision, okay, for columns. Now they skip that edge, okay, and make provision at the end. I don't know how to explain this what I'm trying to say now, but if I think I'm going to bring an image to illustrate this point. At the edge, you are supposed to normally, if you are doing structural design, you take the edges seriously. Okay, there's need to make provision for because those are the areas that can easily carry the load. But if for artistic purpose, maybe from the architectural drawing there's no column at that edge, then wherever the column is going to position, that edge becomes a cantilever end. Okay, that end becomes a cantilever end. So what it means is that the beam on that end is designed specially, not like the normal way that we design our beam, maybe like the two bar at the bottom and 2 bar or 3 bar at the top. The beam for that particular beam is designed based on the load that is going to be coming on that point. But today, these days, it's not always so. It's different. Okay, you see a structure that the end is supposed to have a pillar there, and people will be their construction side, they keep building such structures without making provision of pillars there. Any blocks that is going to be under the beam of that structure is still going to experience crack. It's still going to experience crack. If you have that on your side, take it from me, in the long run you are going to be experiencing crack on those areas, except it's an engineer that is managing that site, meaning that the engineer must have made provision for the beam. The beam must be designed based on the cantilever standard of design. If it is not designed based on that way, that blocks underneath, they are going to be experiencing crack, because there's no way that beam will not be under tension. Okay, this is another area that I've seen at the site that people are doing, and I don't have idea of their reason why they are doing it. Possibly the only reasons I can deduce from what they are doing is to get a straight edge. Okay, maybe because they are looking at it, by the time they body it, the body is not always straight. So for them to get a straight edge, they are trying to avoid putting columns there, so that block work can be connected there and they make it straight till they get up. But my dear, the essence of construction is not for beautification alone. Structures are being designed in a way that they should be able to carry the load that is coming on it. And if you are not an engineer, you will not understand the analysis of the load that is coming on structures. If you don't get that clear, you will always be doing the wrong work. You will think you are doing a good practice. So these are other areas that I still want to bring to your notice. There are still many more instances that I've seen at the site. But as time goes on, I'll be bringing more and more to your notice. So I really explain from now till God knows when. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if you are engaging someone as regard to your house construction job, please try your best to engage the right personnel, the right profession, the right people to do that work, so that work can be done once and for all. Okay, this is the point I'm making here. So far so good. I hope I've made a lot of sense to you guys. I hope whatever thing I've been saying here, you pick 1 or 2 things from it. So if you are building your house tomorrow, if you are building your house next tomorrow, if already you are on construction stage, please, if you have any issues with your house construction, just feel free. You can comment below. You can always draw our attention. We are ready to give you free advice for every of your house construction job. Then if you are a student and you just finished your university, you've not gotten a place where you are working, and you want to see how you can start up something, subscribe to our platform. Try to go through all our videos. I believe you will learn 1 or 2 things from there. There are so many things that we've been talking about. At least we'll discuss about setting out, how you can carry out setting out successfully. We'll discuss about foundation issues, okay, your blinding, all those stages will take time to talk about them. on our previous works. So you take your time and go through our videos, see how it can be of help to you. If there's any areas you want to get in touch with us directly, feel free to discuss with us. Feel free to drop your comment. We'll send you our mails, or we'll give you a location how you can discuss with us. Like I said before, I don't want this to be too lengthy. Okay, the next thing I would have loved to discuss about the non-structural cracks. Okay, that non-structural cracks now, that is the area where it's another area where we really need to understand, but because of time, I'm going to limit myself to this particular stage. I believe I've done something reasonable for you. I hope it's okay. Like I said before, I'm your brother, I'm your friend, I'm your son. Okay, my name is Engineer Ebos. Thank you very, very much for having the time, the opportunity to stay with me up to this hour. I appreciate it. God bless you.